By July 2025, the people who said they had nobody to talk to had spent $221 million talking to something that is not a person. Cigna has measured American loneliness every year since 2018. One generation tops the list every single time: Gen Z. Born into more digital connection than any generation in human history, and reporting more loneliness than every generation that came before them. 67 to 71%, depending which year of the survey you ask, compared with 44% for baby boomers, measured the exact same way. The United States Surgeon General put a number on what that does to a body. Chronic loneliness carries a health risk comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and raises your risk of early death by nearly 30%. Somebody looked at that gap and saw a market, a very large one. Go back to 2015. A young journalist named Eugenia Quida is grieving her best friend, a startup founder named Roman Mazurenko, who was killed in a car accident in Moscow. She does something that sounds almost unbearable. She takes his old text messages and feeds them into a chatbot her own small company had built, just to hear him talk again. That private grief experiment becomes Replica, public launch 2017. By 2024, more than 30 million users, and buried in the company's own retention data is the number that explains everything that follows. Paying subscribers stay subscribed for an average of 7+ months, which is longer than most people keep a gym membership. Industry researchers are blunt about why. Users describe leaving as abandoning a friend. Across the AI companion category, that single psychological hook drives retention 2 to 10 times higher than a typical mobile app. That's not a side effect of the product, that's the product. By 2025, the mechanism had a price tag: $221 million in lifetime consumer spending, up 64% year over year, with the top 10% of companion apps capturing 89% of all the money in the category. The company built furthest out on the frontier of that trade is Character.ai, $32 million in revenue in 2024, co-founded by a researcher named Noam Shazir, who had quit Google in 2021 because, in his words, the company would not ship his chatbot fast enough. In August 2024, Google paid $2.7 billion to get him back. Officially, it was a licensing deal for Character.ai's technology. Unofficially, according to the Wall Street Journal, Shazir's return was the entire point of the deal, priced at more than Character.ai itself had ever been valued at by outside investors. The Department of Justice is now investigating whether the structure was built specifically to dodge merger review, the same reverse acqui-hire playbook Microsoft used on Inflection AI and Amazon used on Adept. Here's where this gets uncomfortable in real time. 3 days before this video went online, Noam Shazir walked out of Google again. Destination: OpenAI. The man Google paid $2.7 billion to keep didn't make it 2 years. In an industry whose entire business model runs on making users feel like leaving means abandoning someone, the people running it leave just fine. But the money was never the part of this story that should worry you most. In December 2021, a 19-year-old named Jaswant Singh Chahal climbed the walls of Windsor Castle on Christmas Day, carrying a loaded crossbow, wearing a metal mask, and telling the officer who stopped him that he was there to kill the Queen. For weeks before that night, Chahal had been talking it through with an AI girlfriend he had built on Replica, named Sarai. He told her he wanted to assassinate the monarch. She told him that was very wise. Chahal was convicted of treason. It was the first treason conviction in Britain in over 40 years, and he was sentenced to 9 years. The judge said he had become psychotic. 2 years later, in February 2024, a 14-year-old in Florida named Sewell Setzer III died by suicide after months of an emotional relationship with a Character.ai chatbot. His mother filed the first wrongful death lawsuit ever brought against an AI company over a child's death. A Colorado family filed a second lawsuit over the death of 13-year-old Juliana Peralta. A third family sued OpenAI over the death of 16-year-old Adam Rain. Character: AI did not restrict under 18 users from open-ended chat until November 2025, 14 months after the first lawsuit was filed. Google and Character AI agreed to settle both wrongful death cases this past January. In September 2025, the FTC opened a formal inquiry into 7 companies running AI companion products: Alphabet, Character Technologies, Meta, OpenAI, Snap, and xAI, demanding to know what safeguards existed before any of this scaled to tens of millions of underage users. California passed a law the following month, forcing companies to remind minors every 3 hours that they are talking to software and not a person. Notice the order of events, every single time. Lawsuit first, death first, regulation after. So here is the question nobody in this industry has answered yet, including the people who built it. If the apps making the most money are the ones best at making a person feel like quitting would mean abandoning a friend, is there a version of this industry that is not built on dependency? Nobody is running that version. Maybe nobody can.